But first, Thomas Ricks spent many years covering the military and national security. He worked as a reporter for the Wall Street Journal, then the Washington Post. Now retired and spending half the year at his home in Deer Isle, Ricks still writes occasionally about the military, but also writes crime fiction set in Maine. His second novel, We Can't Save You, came out this month. Tom Ricks has come a long way since he had a summer job working as a timber marker deep in the woods of Aroostook County.
I was in T7R5, population 0, mosquito population several million. And I reached up behind my ear and took away a wad of black flies and mosquitoes and just blood running across my hand. So yeah, I feel like I gave it the office. But I just couldn't believe anybody would pay me to walk through the woods, even with bugs. And we'd see bears, moose. It was just a lot of fun.
Tom Ricks's experience in the Maine woods has served him well in his series of crime novels set in Maine, the latest of which is We Can't Save You. Although the novels are meant to be entertaining, they also touch on serious issues.
I find it's a great way of writing about what concerns me. For this book, I wanted to write about Maine, but I also read a lot of books about global overheating. And I was thinking, how could that all play out in Maine? And it's just a way of sort of bringing that all to life, writing about a place I love.
It's an interesting term that you use. You don't call it climate change, you don't call it global warming, you call it global overheating, which is not the term that most people use. Why that?
Warming sounds like it's a good thing. Overheating is a bad thing. When your car engine is warm, that's fine. When your car engine is overheating, that's bad. And the more I read, the more I became entirely persuaded that we are screwed, that the way we're going right now, we are burning the earth.
In talking about global overheating, Ricks points to what's happening where he lives, the town of Deer Isle.
Right now on Deer Isle, the issue is whether the causeway out to the island needs to be elevated 4 feet or 8 feet. The sort of conservatives are saying 4 feet's fine. The people who are looking at the long term saying you really want to think about 8 feet. That's the discussion right now. It is changing out there right now. The world is changing much more quickly, I think, than a lot of city dwellers understand.
In this novel, you have Maine Indian tribes that revolt against what is happening, the global overheating. And they blame the Anglo society, which has prevailed in this country for 4 centuries. Why did you want to tell the story in that way?
Part of their situation is governed by treaties they signed a few hundred years ago with the British, and those treaties were inherited by the United States. Well, part of those treaties says you will also treat the environment with respect. So there has been a long-standing concern about the environment.
The environmental message in this novel is bleak and unrelenting. You don't really offer a lot of optimism. Does that accurately reflect your state of mind as you look towards the environmental future of this world?
The more I read, the more I was persuaded that the course we're on is not going to work. That little patchwork solutions, lowering sort of emissions by tiny bits, that's not going to work. The temperature of the air and of the oceans are going up. Massive changes are coming. Big chunks of glaciers are falling off in Antarctica. That is going to raise sea levels. And I think it's all going to happen much faster than people realize now. We're going to look back, I think, in 10, 15 years and say, why didn't we see this coming?
This novel, We Can't Save You, is the second so far in this series. You've already finished the third one?
I have.
Does it have an environmental theme as well?
No, these books are about what's pissing Tom Ricks off. And so the next book is a book about the oligarchy smashing a small town. It's about income inequality.
So if you keep writing novels based on what's got you ticked off at a particular point, it sounds as though you're going to have material to work with for a long time.
I don't know. I used to think, but I've been working on the 4th one, which is, I won't even get into the subject. But after that, I thought, boy, I'm kind of calmed down now. So maybe I'll have to turn to something else.